Scott Cooper, the actor-turned-filmmaker, Crazy Heart, from Virginia's Blue Ridge Mountains, isn't known for horror movies, at least not the conventional kind, but for having an idea for an America that's often forgotten by those in its bigger cities. In such films as Out of the Furnace, he displayed an affinity for small, crumbling, post-industrial communities and their citizens. So the director would not necessarily seem a natural partner for Guillermo del Toro, who has produced Cooper's latest film, Antlers, based on Nick Antosca's short story about the Wendigo, an antlered, supernatural entity inspired by Native American folklore. In some ways, however, it is a match made in horror movie heaven. Antlers is set in a bleak corner of Oregon in a town where the abandoned coal mine has been repurposed as a makeshift meth lab by Frank Weaver, Scott Haze, a local addict and single dad to two vulnerable and frightened young boys, taking place against a backdrop of the opioid epidemic, unemployment and desperation. The story, smartly adapted by Cooper, Antosca and Henry Chaisson, centers on the relationship between Lucas, a sweet, hollow-eyed kid, heartbreakingly rendered by Thomas, who has begun to exhibit signs of emotional. Having recently returned to her hometown from California, which she fled many years ago to escape her own sexually predatory father, Julia, or Jules as she's known, is quick to identify the red flags Lucas is throwing up. Not so quick as her little brother Paul, Jesse Plemons, the town's sheriff, who thinks the boy is none of his sister's business. Although his ears do perk up when the body of a local man is found, severed messily in two, as if by a wild animal, with one half in the mine. That's the setup for the traditional horror side of this story, whose grisly, supernatural style bears Del Toro's hallmarks. But Cooper's input is evident too, in a restraint that imbues the film's more allure genre gimmicks with the strength of an allegory. In other words, his influence elevates Antlers to a story that isn't just about a boogeyman, but about addiction, codependence and the intergenerational legacy of abuse. The film opens with Jules teaching her students about the power of storytelling, of which the film is a textbook example.